When you see cheap and rare meat at the market, would you buy it without hesitation? Have you ever thought about the terrifying truth hidden behind those mysterious delicacies? Today, we are going to uncover one of China's most chilling criminal cases, the ostrich meat serial killings. This monster spent 7 years in a quiet town, creating 18 human tragedies. His methods were so cruel and his mind so twisted that even hearing about it now sends shivers down the spine. Are you ready? Let's step into the fear-filled town of Jincheng in Yunnan and meet this honest-looking butcher, Zhang Yongming. Chapter 1. The Delicious Trap in a Peaceful Town. Jincheng Town in Kunming, Yunnan, sounds like the most ordinary small town. Every morning, the market bustles with life. In one corner, a stall is always crowded. The owner is a middle-aged man named Zhang Yongming. He looks honest and keeps to himself. His stall sells ostrich meat, something rare in the area. Fresh ostrich meat. Cheap today. Zhang, more please. The last batch tasted great. Zhang Yongming's ostrich meat is cheap. For locals used to eating chicken, duck, and fish, it's something new and delicious. So there's always a short line at his stall. Every time he sets up, the meat sells out fast. People praise the unique taste of his ostrich meat, but no one wonders where it really comes from. Later, when the truth comes out, those who once enjoyed Zhang Yongming's ostrich meat feel sick and vomit violently. What they digested wasn't game meat. It was from living people around them. This Zhang Yongming is the main character of our story, a monster in human skin. Chapter 2. The Missing Intern, Han Yao. The story goes back to April 25, 2012, a normal Wednesday. Han Yao, a 20-year-old college junior from Yunnan, is full of youth and energy. His school sends him to intern at a construction company in Jincheng Town. The young man is smart and hardworking. He gets along well with coworkers, and his boss trusts him with small but important tasks. That morning at 8:30, the project manager asks Han Yao to fetch 2 files from an office across town. Han Yao agrees cheerfully, hops on his bike, hums a tune, and disappears into the morning sun. No one expected this to be the last time they saw the lively Han Yao. Time passes minute by minute. At noon, Han Yao doesn't come back for lunch. By afternoon, there's still no sign of him. His coworkers think maybe he finished his task early and stopped to look around town or visited friends. But by 9 p.m., when the work site has closed, Han Yao still hasn't returned. A coworker calls his phone, only to hear the cold, automated message. The number you dialed is powered off. A bad feeling starts growing among the coworkers. The project manager also feels something's wrong. He's a grown young man in this small town. How could fetching documents take all day? He immediately gathers over 10 workers and splits them into 2 search teams to comb the area for Han Yao. One team checks roadside woods, ponds, and abandoned buildings. The other asks at hotels, internet cafes, and arcades, places young people might visit. They shout Han Yao's name while waving flashlights, their voices cutting through the silent night with no response. The whole night passes with no results. By noon on the 3rd day, the project manager can't wait any longer. With shaking hands, he calls Han Yao's family. Hello, Han Yao's parents? You need to come to Jincheng Town immediately. Han Yao, he's missing. Chapter 3. Desperate Parents and a Shocking Discovery. When Han Yao's parents get the call, they are stunned. They rush from their hometown to Jincheng Town without stopping. As soon as they arrive at the construction site, they report their son's disappearance to the police. The police start an investigation, but at first, they don't seem to realize how serious the situation is. Han Yao's parents are heartbroken. They print countless photos of him with the words, missing person, and their phone number. They go everywhere in Jincheng Town, asking anyone they meet, please, have you seen my son? He looks like this. But as they search desperately for their son, a terrifying truth begins to emerge. They learn that in Jincheng Town, strange disappearances like Han Yao's are not rare. Someone tells them, don't bother looking. A few years ago, another young man, about your son's age, vanished near here too. He was never found. Others say, yes, I remember, back in 2005 or 2006, a student disappeared on his way home from school. My neighbor's nephew was working here when he suddenly went missing. The police couldn't help either. Piece by piece, the stories add up. From 2005 to 2012, in just 7 years, at least 17 young people mysteriously disappeared in and around Jincheng Town. Most were between 15 and 25 years old, students, workers, all vanishing without a trace, leaving no bodies behind. What sends chills down Han Yao's parents' spines is this. When they mark the last known locations of these missing people, they discover a shocking pattern. All the disappearances point to the same area, or more precisely, revolve around one specific place. A large cold storage facility on the edge of town. Han Yao had also passed through that area before vanishing. This realization terrifies them. This can't be a coincidence. There must be a huge, horrifying secret behind it all. They immediately report this shocking discovery to the police and contact local media. The media's involvement is like a boulder dropped into a lake, causing instant waves. As soon as the story breaks, it sparks massive public outrage and attention. More families of missing victims see the reports and rush to Jincheng Town. They band together, sharing their grief and demanding a thorough police investigation. Suddenly, Jincheng Town is shrouded in fear and suspicion. 17 young lives lost over 7 years. How could the local police know nothing? Or is there something they're hiding? Under intense public pressure, the police can no longer ignore the case. They form a special task force and ramp up the investigation. Chapter 4. The Quiet Man, Zhang Yongming. Police review all the missing person cases and find a pattern. Most victims were walking alone on quiet paths before disappearing, all within the same area. With the key clue about the cold storage facility, officers focus their search nearby. Soon, a man named Zhang Yongming catches their attention. Zhang Yongming was born in 1956 and grew up in Jincheng Town. At 56, he lives alone. He rarely talks to others and stays in an old house at the edge of the village. His yard has several fierce guard dogs, and his gate stays locked all year, making him seem mysterious. Villagers see Zhang as a quiet and odd man. He has no steady job, but sometimes sells his homemade, marinated meat at the morning market, claiming it's ostrich meat. Since it's cheaper than pork and considered a rare treat, his stall sells out quickly every time. No one would link this awkward, lonely old man to the terrifying disappearances. But police soon discover Zhang's past is far from quiet. His life is filled with violence and crime. Chapter 5. The Making of a Monster. Zhang Yongming grows up in a very twisted and violent environment. His father is a drunk who often beats his mother, sometimes even hurting him and his brothers too. Seeing this abuse for years makes Zhang Yongming become a lonely, depressed, and sensitive child with violent tendencies. At school, he keeps to himself. Other kids avoid him and sometimes make fun of him. Zhang Yongming takes this very personally. Even small things can make him explode in anger. At age 14, just because a classmate teases him, he attacks the boy like a madman. The boy ends up with broken bones in his face, damaged organs, and cracked ribs. Because the crime is so brutal, Zhang Yongming is sent to a juvenile detention center for 2 years. But instead of changing for the better, he becomes even more violent and angry inside. After getting out, he drops out of school and spends his days wandering around with nothing to do. In 1978, to make a living, Zhang Yongming starts working at a local brick factory. There, he meets a co-worker named Yang Shurong, one of the few people he calls a friend. The two get along well and often drink and chat together. But the monster inside Zhang Yongming never sleeps. He has always wanted to let out his violence, and his friend, Yang Shurong, becomes his first victim. One night, Zhang Yongming invites Yang over for drinks, but it's a trap. When Yang Shurong is completely off guard, Zhang Yongming suddenly strangles him from behind with a rope. Yang fights hard, but Zhang is much stronger and planned this ahead. In the end, Yang dies from suffocation. After killing him, Zhang stays shockingly calm. He cuts Yang's body into pieces. He buries some parts in his yard and throws the rest into the wild. But justice always finds its way. After Yang goes missing, the police quickly suspect Zhang. During police questioning, Zhang doesn't resist much. He admits to killing Yang. In 1979, Zhang gets a death sentence with a 2-year reprieve for murder. Back then, this usually meant the sentence could be reduced to life in prison if the prisoner behaved well. Zhang spends 19 years in prison. In 1997, he's released early for good behavior. By then, he's 41 years old. His parents have passed away, and his siblings cut ties with him. He returns to his old house in Jincheng Town, becoming even more isolated. On the surface, he seems calmer and avoids conflicts. But no one knows the 19 years in prison didn't erase his evil thoughts. Instead, they grew stronger like fertilizer feeding his rotten soul. He becomes more patient, better at hiding his true self. His desire to kill grows stronger each day in loneliness, waiting for the next chance to strike. Chapter 6. 7 Years of Hunting, 17 Innocent Lives Lost. The year is 2005, 8 years after Zhang Yongming's release from prison. During these 8 years, he lurks in the shadows like a lone wolf, silently observing the town and searching for his prey. Finally, the monster inside him breaks free once again. On a quiet, remote path, he meets a young man walking alone. Zhang pretends to ask for directions or help, luring the man to a secluded spot. There, he strangles him to death with a rope he prepared earlier. Succeeding the first time without getting caught makes Zhang even bolder. He realizes that many isolated paths around Jinsheng town are used by workers and students on their daily commutes. Young people walking alone, unaware of danger, become his perfect targets. His method is always the same. Pick a remote location, choose a lone male victim, trick or drag him to a more hidden spot under the pretense of asking for help, then strangle him to death. After killing, Zhang drags the victim's body back to his home, a seemingly ordinary farmhouse. There, he does horrifying things, dismembering, removing bones, and cutting the body into pieces. Some parts are preserved with salt, while others are processed into what he claims is ostrich meat and sold at the local market. He keeps the victim's personal belongings, shoes, phones, bank cards, ID cards, and watches, hidden in his bedroom, as if they were trophies from his successful hunts. Over just 7 years, from 2005 to 2012, Zhang Yongming acts like a cold and efficient killing machine, creating a series of disappearances around Jinsheng town. At least 17 innocent young people die at his hands, including the co-worker Yang Shurong, whom he killed in 1978. Zhang Yongming is responsible for 18 lives. These young victims include college students with dreams, workers struggling to make a living, and fresh graduates just stepping out of school. Their lives end abruptly, becoming sacrifices to this monster. Their families still suffer the unbearable pain of losing their loved ones. Chapter 7. The Gates of Hell, Zhang Yongming's home. Han Yao's disappearance, followed by media exposure and public pressure, finally brings a breakthrough in this long-hidden case. After extensive investigations, the police focus all suspicions on Zhang Yongming. In May 2012, they decide to raid his home. When the police knock on Zhang Yongming's tightly shut door, an indescribable stench hits them, a mix of blood, rot, and animal waste, making them sick. The messy yard is filled with junk and tools, while several fierce wolf dogs, chained in a corner, bark wildly at the officers. Inside the house, even experienced officers are shocked and terrified by what they see. In the bedroom, a large wardrobe catches the police's attention. When opened, it reveals no clothes, just over 50 pairs of men's shoes, all different sizes and styles. These shoes unmistakably belong to the missing young men. In the drawer, there are over a dozen phones of different brands and models, along with many bank cards, ID cards, and watches. Each ID card may belong to a broken family with a tragic story, but the most chilling discovery is in the kitchen corner. The police find several sealed jars and plastic buckets. When opened, they reveal pieces of preserved human flesh. This is the so-called ostrich meat Zhang Yongming sold at the morning market. Even more horrifying, the police also find bottles of medicinal liquor with something soaked inside. When they look closer, everyone gasps. The bottles contain perfectly preserved human eyeballs. During questioning, the demon Zhang Yongming even boasts proudly, saying he drinks this eyeball liquor to improve his eyesight. How absurd, how cruel, how utterly monstrous. Chapter 8. The Demon's End and Eternal Pain. The evidence is solid, and Zhang Yongming can no longer lie. He admits to killing 17 teenagers between 2005 and 2012 and selling some of their body parts as ostrich meat. On January 10, 2013, the Kunming Intermediate People's Court in Yunnan Province sentences Zhang Yongming to death for intentional homicide and strips him of his political rights for life. But shockingly, Zhang Yongming refuses to accept the death sentence and appeals. How dare he appeal? What right does he have? Does he think he didn't kill enough people? Or that the law was too harsh on him? In the end, the Yunnan High People's Court rejects his appeal and upholds the original verdict. On October 24, 2013, Zhang Yongming is executed. The devil finally gets the punishment he deserves, but the lives he took will never return. 18 families are torn apart because of him, and countless relatives live in endless pain and grief. As for the townspeople who unknowingly bought and ate the ostrich meat he sold, they vomit and break down when they learn the truth. The horror leaves a permanent scar on their minds. They never imagined that the exotic meat they paid for was actually. This nightmare will haunt them for the rest of their lives.